think with yourself, I would love to become a CRNA. Christine, what can you, pearls of wisdom, to tell me to become a CRNA? What are my steps, for example, in the application process? And if you're new to this channel, it's okay. I'm here to guide you. So even if you're not currently looking to apply into CRNA school, it's okay, because this video will actually give you a preparation when you are a nurse, or maybe you're going to school to get your bachelor's in nursing, or maybe you're going through the accelerated program. Whatever area you are in nursing, this video will help you. So definitely keep watching. My name is Christine and welcome to a new video. I am so excited to be here today. Haven't been on YouTube for a while, but I am here to give back. I'm here to be your mentor. I still remember when I was thinking of going to school. I became a registered nurse. I worked in the ICU. I was going back for my nurse practitioner, decided to change my path, applied to CRNA school and got accepted. So I still feel like it's fresh in my mind, even after so many years of being in school and then being a CRNA. I want to share what I have, learned throughout the years, as well as I love precepting, love teaching. So of course, I love to talk with students who are currently in, anesthesia school. So I'm here to give you the knowledge, give you a lot of information today. So definitely grab yourself some tea or some water, grab a pen and paper and start writing, because I feel the more you write, it kind of reminds you of all the things that I told you today. If not, if you just want to listen, no problem. So let's get started. The first thing to think about when you want to apply to a CRNA program, think about when you're looking at your essay, for example, what is unique about you? What kind of story about yourself you can expand on? We've been through trials and tribulations in our lives. Everyone's unique and different. There is something unique about you. So maybe sit and brainstorm and think about what is unique to you. Maybe, you've shadowed a CRNA, maybe you have a family member who's in the medical field, maybe an experience that happened to you when you're in ICU, for example, or maybe you've had surgery, something unique to you that sets you aside to tell your story, because those stories connect you with the director of a program who's reading your application. So definitely think about those things when you're thinking about your application, because those are the, points that are gonna allow you to really stand on 2 feet really strongly. The next thing I'd recommend to think about is leadership opportunities. What are you doing on your unit, or what are you doing in your hospital? What are some things that set you aside that you're doing leadership related? Are you a charge nurse, or maybe you're doing precepting, on your unit? Maybe you're a nurse manager. Maybe you've had some experience in administration. An educator, maybe you're doing something unique to you leadership-wise that you can put on your resume to strengthen it. Because when you're in nurse anesthesia school, a lot of the programs nowadays are doctoral, and 3.5 to 4 years depending on the school. Some schools are 3 years. But a lot of the programs are looking for leadership. How can you lead, in the avenue of nurse anesthesia? So just think about that as something to expand upon on your resume, or even in your essay, for example. And if you're currently not doing leadership yet, you know what? You can start now. So I would recommend going to your hospital, talking to your nurse manager, and seeking out opportunities for you to grow. Definitely recommend that. Another thing I would recommend is thinking about emotional intelligence. I know we nowadays are thinking about our IQ or the grades I have to be this most perfect grades. I have to do this, I have to do that. But sometimes you gotta think about emotionally you as a person, your confidence. You know, you even watching this video, you should be so proud of yourself because the confidence for you to start researching and utilizing YouTube is amazing. So that's the first step, to think about how amazing you are as a person, you know, and what you can bring to the table emotionally, as well as your emotional intelligence with other people. How do you interact with people? You know, because one of the things I would say nowadays with the, for example, say example, you get accepted into a program. You're not fully accepted, but you got the interview. So you're like, yes, I got an interview. That means I'm accepted. No, you're not accepted. You have to do an interview. So it could be about 100 students applied, for example, and maybe 30 students are going for the interview, and then maybe 15 students are going to be accepted into the program. Just throwing numbers out there, every school is different, but that's an example. So when you go for the interview, a lot of when I was in school, when I was applying to CRNA school and I had my interview, it was very like rigorous with knowledge base. A lot of questions about ICU, critical care, calculations. I had to do an essay in regards to leadership. So it's a lot more focused on knowledge base. But nowadays, the programs, they are turning a little bit where they're doing more, you know, psychosocial, emotionally, like emotional intelligence. How do you react to certain situations? Do you fit for this program, for example? Because they look at the cohort of students and they want to see if they fit together. And so a lot of times, because, you know, depending on the program, you know, the students who get the interview are more than likely have an equal opportunity to get accepted. But you have to now set yourself aside and show what's unique about you and how you interact with others and your confidence. And so that's something you got to think about when you are going through the application process. When you go for the interview, it's not always about the book smarts, it's also about how you are as a person, because you're beautiful, you're amazing, and they just want to see that through. So think about that when you're thinking about your interview. And I always recommend, you know, even though you may feel like you're not good enough, or maybe you're not a fit to be a nurse anesthetist, maybe you just feel like you don't have the courage, have the courage. You're watching this video for a reason, because I'm here to guide you. I want to give you all my pearls of wisdom. And so even for me, I you know, applied to a nurse, not even knowing if I was going to get accepted or not. And I felt maybe my grades weren't good enough. My GRE score wasn't good enough. You know, I felt, you know, at one point that I'm just going to go through the steps, but if I don't get accepted, okay. I would say don't, you know, I was like that, and so it's normal to feel that way. But you got to remind yourself, you are beautiful, you're amazing, and you will get through it. I promise you, you will get through it. And I'm here for you. I have tons of videos of ways to guide, you know, depending on who you are, you know, and so definitely watch the videos, and I want to help you. So definitely check it out. The next thing I would recommend is shadow a CRNA. I wouldn't tell you how important this is, because I remember when I was going to nurse practitioner school and I was excited, I was going to school, and towards the end of schooling, I had maybe about a year left. And I just felt, for me, I'm like, oh, I did all this schooling, but I don't feel like this is for me. And being a nurse practitioner is an amazing career to go into. But for me, there was a point where I felt I didn't know for sure if it was a fit for me. And I think what it is because I'd never shadowed a nurse practitioner. I literally worked in the ICU for 6 months, and I always knew that I wanted to become an advanced practice nurse. I never shadowed. I really didn't know a lot about, you know, nurse practitioner. And then as I got more in depth in my degree, of course, you learn about your profession more, and I never shadowed. And then when I did shadow, I just felt it wasn't a fit for me. And funny enough, I never thought about nurse anesthesia. A lot of the nurses on the unit I worked at in the ICU, basically everyone was going into nurse anesthesia, and I was was like, why? Like, when there's anesthesia, I'm like, I want to become a nurse practitioner. That's fine with me. I'm good. I really am excited about it. But then I said to myself, let me just shadow a CRNA and see what it's about. And that experience literally changed my life. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So definitely check out my video on the day in the life of becoming a CRNA to kind of give you an idea of the day in the life. But that changed my whole path. And so then again, I went ahead and applied, got accepted, and it's just so important to realize the importance of shadowing. And also, if you do shadow a couple times, what will happen if you're shadowing with the same person, you may develop a relationship with them, as well as, you feel you have someone you can turn to, ask a bunch of questions. And you never know, depending on how the relationship grows, you can get, someone to write a recommendation for you, depending on how close you become with that person. And so that is super helpful for your application, and it also looks great for your letters of recommendation, for example. And even if you don't get a letter of recommendation from a CRNA, you even discuss, maybe talking about that a little bit, in your essay looks great. So I definitely recommend that. The next thing I would say, which is a bonus tip, is thinking about certification exams or certifications, for example. So getting your critical care, certification in nursing. I definitely recommend. It's called CCRN. So important to have on your resume. Some schools don't recommend it, but even if the school doesn't recommend it, the employers expect that you would take it, and it just looks great on your resume in general. And if you're concerned about your GRE, for example, you're like, GRE, another standardized exam. Well, depending on the school, depending on your GPA, if your GPA is a 3.5 or higher on average, most schools are leaning towards that number approximately, they will waiver you from having to take the GRE. So do think about that. That is always an option if you're feeling like, I don't do well on those type of exams. Some schools will waiver it. So definitely do a little research depending on the school you're going to. And now another recommendation I would say is, first, I would love for you to comment below. Tell me where you're at on your journey. Are you a nurse? Are you in nursing school? Are you about to apply to CRNA school? Have you shadowed? What was your experience? I would love to hear it in the comments below. And if I don't respond to it right away, I know there's a big community of people who would love to have an interaction with you. So definitely comment below. I would love to see that. The next thing I would love to talk about is grades. Grades are important, but not an end all. So think about this. When you look at your GPA, you have your overall GPA of all the courses you've taken. Maybe you've taken art, maybe you've taken history, maybe you've taken, microbiology, but everything is together, for example. And so that's your core GPA. And a lot of schools nowadays, they take your prereq courses and they kind of make a GPA out of that itself. And they look at that because that's more of an idea of how you're doing in your sciences, in the courses that they require, for example. And if, for example, those prereq courses you didn't do as well, I recommend, if you can find, a cheap route would be to go to a community college and retake certain courses. Totally recommend it. Or if you are thinking about, you go into take graduate courses, for example, that's even better in a sense, because when I was, for example, going for my application to CRNA school, I had courses of advanced practice nursing. And so I took some of those courses and it helped with my GPA. So I definitely recommend that. I know sometimes you say, time and money. Yes, I know. That's definitely a struggle nowadays. But if you can, try your best to retake courses to strengthen that GPA. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm so excited to be here for you, and I'm so excited for you to be watching this video. It really feels great that you're watching this video and that I'm helping you and helping others. If there's if you want to learn more about how to become a CRNA or grow your CRNA career, definitely click on these videos over here, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a beautiful day. Bye.